Alex Northstar, so happy to have you here. I'm going to start a little differently here. I love your last name, Northstar.
All right.
What is your North Star? What guides you in this world?
That's a great question, to be honest, because quite a few people ask me, is that your family name? It's like, no, I wish. Okay. So like North Star, it's a great name. It's like the normal Alex, it's a lot of a more boring person. But North Star, somebody potentially can do much more than a mortal man. That was the whole idea behind it. Now, what guides me? Depends on what we're referring to, right? If we talk about AI, if it's about community education, I have some specific values. Let's put it this way. I'm mostly towards education. That guides me. Like it's something that kind of saved my life in the last 10 years from where I started and where I am right now. And that's what I try to give back to the people. So I'm guided by the light of knowledge. Let's put it this way.
Light of knowledge and educating others. I love that. So what are you working on now and what do you do?
Exactly. So nowadays I'm working as a AI performance consultant, and also I do automation for both entrepreneurs, small teams. I also do education with some schools. And I also work to help some bigger enterprises implement pretty much AI literacy, right? It's a thing that's happening pretty much everywhere really fast. And we need to help people understand in a practical way. That's the thing. So I'm noticing there's a lot of knowledge out there for sure, but hard to cut through the noise, right? And get stuff that you can apply in the next 5 minutes. And that's what I'm essentially trying to show people. Hey, this is what it means. This is how you can use it for yourself to get benefits today. And how do I normally give this to my people? I just show them the ways to win 2 hours per day. That's one of my initiatives, for example, is the 4-hour AI Workweek. And I ideally just want to show people hey, use AI in this specific way, no code, real simple stuff. And you're going to win every day 2 hours. What are you going to do with 2 hours? Spend it with the kids, with the family, doing your hobbies, up to you. Because AI allows us to do that.
So an AI coach is essentially.
I like the definition. I guess so. Yeah.
And where are you most prominent on? What social media platforms?
I am on X, on Twitter. It used to be called Twitter. I have there a little bit of following. Pretty much I work exclusively there for now. I'm also expanding a bit into LinkedIn, but I like Twitter. It's a very raw platform, right? You can say a lot the things that you really feel like it. And
as somebody I was never on Twitter until 4 years ago, and I don't know, I was afraid of you're putting yourself out there to everybody, essentially anybody, but it's not everyone's going to look at your post right away, but it takes this muscle memory of just hey, just put yourself out there and see what happens. But now that I'm into it, it's it's great. I love it. That instant feedback and instant recognition of what you're doing.
It's very authentic. That's the thing that I like a lot about it. Right? So if you go on other platforms LinkedIn is very results oriented. Let's put it this way. You have to show oh, you got promoted and stuff like that. On Instagram, it needs to be very visual. But on Twitter, especially with spaces, live broadcasts, it's very authentic. And that's something that's very rare nowadays. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, authenticity is what they say is the number one attractive thing about that people want these days is authenticity. And if you're not willing to provide authenticity, that's essentially what's going to differentiate yourself from AI and from
exactly.
It's who you are, and
you understood this perfectly. It's going to help you a lot long term because again, with the AI knowledge that I have now, I can totally generate AI clones or guides and all of this stuff written, for example, even with voices. But being authentic, right, and interacting with people on voice live, that's something that remains unique to us, and people should either leverage this more or lean into it because I think it's very important nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say is the public's biggest misconception about AI? What aren't they understanding?
They think it's a mind-reading machine. A lot of clients I worked with, right? They think it's oh, I just give it a little prompt there and it should be able to understand this, right? And then I tell them, I use this reverse approach where I tell them if you would give this prompt to a human, would he or she understand what you meant? And then they try this exercise and they're well, it's a bit vague. And it's then why do you assume that ChatGPT would understand what's on your mind? So that's why I kind of try to combine, this aspect of human critical thinking with the prompt engineering. But at the end of the day, it's a really fancy term just to say how you talk with the machine. Are you understandable for other humans? If not, it's not going to work with ChatGPT.
What's your like favorite AI story, either for yourself in your own life or for one of your clients, of like the most cool thing that AI has done for their life?
I could talk a bit about this guy, maybe Alex Hormozi, perhaps you know him.
Oh yeah, Alex Hormozi.
Yeah. So I basically built his clone with the software, like it's called VoiceFlow. And I made him as a coach, like literally like a business coach. And I just tried, this was like last year, just for fun.
Yeah.
So it was different than the GPTs because this one, everybody has access to it and it was a bit more in-depth. And I was like, I just did it for an experiment to do like some entrepreneurship education. It ended up that 2,000 people talked to it and the conversations were long. Some of them, right, for example, they said like, okay, I'm okay with testing this. I want to show the log. I got like conversation, like 30 messages with people asking it for like business plans for startups, for like getting a new job in New York. I saw incredible things. I was blown away. But it also showed me how people operate with AI. Some of them, right, they give like, hi, what's your name? What do you do? Other people gave you this like long prompts with very clear intentions and it worked for them. They got really solid business plans, so good that I had to like actually reduce it. Like I had to put caps on it to maximum 3 messages because people kept talking with it for a very long time.
So you made an Alex Hormozi GPT?
No, an Alex Hormozi clone. It was not the GPT. It was literally like a clone, like with a chatbot, dedicated chatbot that I can give you the link and you can talk to it. And you get like live coaching.
What is it responding off of? Like, is there a model behind the clone?
Yeah, so it's basically, it's built-in voice flow. I'm not going to go too technical on it, but like it's built-in voice flow and it's better than the GPTs because you have more control on it, right? For example, I could implement inside of it different dialogue workflows. Right? I can tell if person wants a business analysis, do this with this knowledge. If they want coaching on sales, use this knowledge and answer in the specific way. So you have a lot more control on the output. Plus the tone, I worked a lot of it that it doesn't sound robotic at all. You should try it out.
So you really kind of programmed a lot of the responses?
Yeah.
Okay, so the bigger question, did Alex Hormozi get wind of this?
Not yet, and I would be very intrigued if he gets wind of it and what's going to happen. Because it works. The Hormozi AI works really well, I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it sounds like him.
Yeah, well, like you can program the voice, with, and it can totally be done. The thing is, though, is like it kind of substitutes the coaching from Hormozi, which would cost like 10K per hour or something like that. Right? So it's very convenient, the Hormozi clone.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll discover this clip we'll make of this and he'll want to work with you to outsource himself.
Or go in a completely different direction, but that's okay. I built it for just like education purposes. So I'm not making profit from it, right? Just to help people. And I'm giving him publicity at the end of the day. So I hope I come clean.
Yeah. Are you from Italy?
Yeah. Great. I come from a small town south of Rome.
What is your journey? Your English is very good, by the way.
Thank you.
As an English teacher, I was an ESL teacher for 10 years before this. And so I've worked with a lot of students in improving their English skill. What did you find was like how you got to this confident level of speaking English?
Cartoon Network. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
So what had happened is it used to be like completely in English for a long time with no subtitles, no translation. And then one day they decided to translate it. So as a kid, I used to watch so much of it. I knew all of it, like Ed, Edd and Eddy, Scooby-Doo, all these great shows. And then I knew all of them by heart almost. And when they translated it, I had an almost perfect knowledge of English in 3 months. Yeah. It was wild.
I'm really excited about the potential of AI to help people learn other languages. And
it works excellently. I can advise you for that. The voice GPT, very underestimated feature. You like just talk with the phone, right? And you tell like, hey, you're a Spanish teacher. Could you explain to me this concept? Can you do some role play with me? I need to do it for a job interview. It works wonderfully.
And it replies to you vocally.
Yeah. Because you'd use it like in a dialogue form, right? You literally prompt it. You say like, hey, I want to improve for my Spanish exam. Can we do it together like you'd be the teacher? And it will ask you a question in Spanish. Then you need to answer. It will come back to you. It will give you hints. It works wonderfully.
And that's under OpenAI's ChatGPT?
Yeah. You can do it literally with like ChatGPT. If you download the app on the phone, you can just, you put your headphones on, you click on the symbol, and you talk to it while you go on a walk on the beach.
You're my Spanish teacher. I'm at this level. Do some role playing with me.
Yeah. Or Italian teacher. Why not?
That's great. And I love that that's out there because it's totally helpful. And then just like for the GPT to remember your level. And I'm wondering if you have insights into that because I feel like that's the biggest concern is that these models don't remember you enough. If I'm learning Spanish, I want my GPT to always remember what words I know, what grammar points I know well, which I need more help with.
Yeah.
And do you know if we're going to break through there?
Absolutely, we will. So there will be huge improvements already because what you're talking about is the context window, how much it remembers, right? When we had like huge jumps from like a memory of 100, like 28K to like nowadays with Gemini 1.5, they have like 1 million token context, which is huge. It can remember pretty much like 4 books. if you put context. And it's only getting better. They're like expanding it for like 10 million only for like text.
Yeah.
So it's going to get a lot bigger, the memory load, let's put it this way. And also you can do a little trick where you're just going to upload a document with all the information about you as a student. So that every time it will remember this. And it's really easy solution, no code, and it does a great job to get like tailored education.
Yeah, that's going to be an unlock for so many people around the world when that happens.
As I said, I'm passionate about education. This will help basically make it very cheap, right? Because imagine for certain countries where they don't have access to higher level education or it's expensive, they could potentially use these GPT solutions, to learn English, coding, a lot of good stuff for essentially almost for free. It's important.
What's your biggest worry for the future as AI gets better and better?
Automation, not acceleration. Well, I'm a proponent of accelerating humans with AI, not replacing them. But I know that there are companies who are really eager to just send people home and they can just like triple the profits. And it's going to happen. And that's why my main job, I say like my mission for this year is to help with AI literacy for like 10,000 people, like high performance, right? To get the edge, to stay competitive, to not lose, bread for their families pretty much.
Are there any AI thought leaders that you really admire?
Yeah, absolutely. There's like Ethan Mollick, great professor at Wharton, great guy. I definitely recommend following him. There's Robert Scoble. He's really solid player like on X. He's always there. You find him there like every day posting. So he's a voice. Brian Rommel too. Great guy, works a lot. He's also like very philosophical, very deep man. So these are thought leaders with huge followings, but it's for a reason pretty much.
Well, Alex, we're very happy to have you at the Imagine AI Live conference, our inaugural event here, and you'll be speaking when?
Tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow at 10:20. It's going to have like 20 minutes, really just meat and potatoes, practical AI to save up to 2 hours per day.
Great. And what's your experience been of the conference so far?
It's great. I love the opportunity to actually meet the humans behind the profiles, right? I saw all these like AI pics and then you meet them. It's just great. I love it. As an Italian chatterbox, it's just the best.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely been a big plus for me too. Like I know you because I follow you and I like interact with your posts and everything, but it's just like, one 2D image and then your representation and that's...
I've been hugging everybody here. Like I see them as like, come here. It's great.
Okay. Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming to our pop-up podcast here and talking.
Thank you for building all of this. It's wonderful, really. Thank you so much for bringing up the humans together and all of this. It's great.
In real life meeting here. I'd love to interview again in the future for a longer period.
Sure, too. I can provide some, practical stuff, more like implementation. Awesome. I'm happy to share.
Okay.
That's one small step for man.